Getting you images from different parts of the country where protests continue to take place for the third consecutive day. UP, Bihar, Haryana, Secunderabad and the national capital too are now seeing protests. The protests have entered day 3 and they're showing no signs of abating. These are angry army aspirants who have come out on streets to protest on what's been called by the government a transformative scheme by the government. Taking you through the pictures coming in from Secunderabad in Telangana. They've just come in this morning of a train coach being vandalized, being put on fire. These are angry army aspirants, remember, who are demanding explanation, demanding what really does the future hold for them once they pass out after 4 years of the Agnipath military scheme. Now, these are visuals from Secunderabad, the railway station, one believes, where public property has been vandalized. Train coaches have been put on fire. Remember, this public property is worth a lot, and clearly massive financial losses there being incurred by the exchequer as well due to this vandalism that's taking place on ground. Also, these are visuals from Damran in Bihar. Remember, Bihar is the epicenter of these protests because maximum number of incidents of protests are coming in from this state, especially being focused on railway tracks and train coaches. Damran sees these protests at the railway station once again, where property is being burnt down. Protesters in large numbers there gathered. Let's also now show you visuals from Haryana in Nirvana, where these protesters have blocked the entire railway track. You can see them doing a sit-in protest at the railway track, holding the national flag, asking the government to withdraw the Agnipath military scheme. And once again, Bihar, these are visuals from Batia, where protesters have come out on streets in large numbers. Remember, this is a huge challenge for the police forces who are trying their best to contain the situation. But given the number of these protesters who've come out and the sentiments that they're really putting out on display, it does pose as a huge challenge for the police forces. Mostly the railway stations and railway tracks are being targeted. And once again in Balia as well, railway tracks being targeted. This is a coach that's been burnt down by the angry mob, and the police forces doing their best to not further any damage, trying to isolate the entire bogie from that particular coach that's been burnt down. So you can see visuals coming in from all across Bihar. And these particular visuals, of course, are coming in from Balia in UP that just show the sort of vandalism that's been put out by these angry protesters. Trains have been torched, stations have been vandalized, property worth of crores really has been put out in ashes. In Buxar, once again, the railway track being targeted, property being burnt down by protesters. And in Lakhisarai, the most dramatic visuals there coming out of Lakhisarai, where the entire coach has been burned down. You can just see how the smoke is billowing out of that particular entire train that's been put out to fire. One important thing that one needs to really put out there is that due to this, there's been massive impact on the railway track lines. Railway commuters, of course, facing in that particular line, on that particular route, that is, are suffering due to these incidents that are taking place, especially on railway tracks. Once again, in Samastipur in Bihar, the entire railway track being blocked, and you can see the coaches being burned down by angry mobs. Police, of course, there at this point in time at all these railway stations, but unable really to contain the situation at this point in time, which is fueling. This is the third consecutive day, remember, that these protests are taking place, and it seems that they are only escalating. We're getting in political reactions there. Government is, remember, trying to pacify angry voices by saying that this policy has been thought through and that the future of aspirants who enroll in the scheme will be taken care of. Let's listen into what Rajnath Singh had to say.
पिछले 2 साल से सेना में भर्ती की प्रक्रिया न होने के कारण बहुत से नौजवानों को सेना में भर्ती होने का अवसर नहीं मिला। यह सच्चाई है। इसलिए युवाओं के भविष्य को ध्यान में रखते हुए और उनके प्रति संवेदनशीलता दिखाते हुए प्रधानमंत्री जी के अनुमोदन पर सरकार ने फैसला किया है कि अग्निवीरों की भर्ती की आयु सीमा को इस बार बढ़ाकर 21 से 23 वर्ष कर दिया जाए। यह वन टाइम रिलैक्सेशन दिया गया है। इससे बहुत सारे नौजवानों को अग्निवीर बनने की पात्रता स्वतः मिल जाएगी। और मैं यह भी कहना चाहता हूं कि भर्ती प्रक्रिया कुछ ही दिनों में प्रारंभ होने जा रही है। मैं सभी नौजवानों से अपील करता हूं कि सेना में भर्ती होने की वह तैयारी करें और इसका पूरा लाभ उठाएं।
Meanwhile, Amit Shah has also tweeted stating the pandemic has affected military recruitment in the last 2 years and we're concerned about those youth. Prime Minister Modi ji has taken the considerate decision to increase the upper age limit from 21 to 23 in the Agnipath scheme for the first year. Also, Priyanka Gandhi has tweeted out stating that not even 24 hours after the announcement, the government was forced to revise the scheme. A hastily drafted policy is being imposed on the youth. Modi ji, please roll back the scheme immediately. Released results for Air Force recruitments. Return to earlier age limit for military jobs. And the UP BJP chief too has hit out at the opposition, and they say that they first provoked the farmers and now they are provoking the Jawans. Till when will the opposition continue incendiary politics?